Guys, today we're going to talk about percents greater than 100% and percents less than 1%. And they're going to look very different because we're not used to seeing percents that are greater than 100 or less than 1. But they can exist, and we will talk in class about the different places we see these kinds of percents. But all you need to keep in mind is that the rules for converting between fractions, decimals, and percents don't change. And I'm going to keep coming back to the Dr. Pepper method throughout this video. So if I want to go from a decimal to percent, I'm still going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. And if I want to go from percent to decimal, I'm still going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So let's look at this first section here. If I wanted to write each percent as a decimal and as a mixed number or fraction, I'm still going to go back to the Dr. Pepper method. So 895 has a decimal at the end. So 895%, I'm going to put in my decimal, and I want to turn that percent into a decimal. So to go from percent to decimal, don't forget, I go 2 places to the left. So I take my decimal, 2 places to the left, and I get 8 and 95 hundredths. Now to turn that to a fraction, 8 and 95 over 100. And I'm going to simplify by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 5, and that gives me 8 and 19 twentieths. So I have 2 answers here, 8 and 95 hundredths, 8 and 19 twentieths. When I have a percent that is less than 1, the rules don't change. I take that 42 hundredths percent. Since I'm going from percent to decimal, I go 2 places to the left. I still need to add in another 0. So I get as my decimal 42 10,000ths. I'm going to write that as a fraction with 42 in the numerator over, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 digits in my decimal, so I need to have 4 zeros in my power of 10 in the denominator, which means that I have 42 over 10,000. When I simplify, dividing by 2, I get 21 over 5,000. So my 2 answers, 42 10,000ths and 21 5,000ths. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and try numbers 2 and 8. Pause the video. When you're done, press play and we'll check your work. Okay, let's check your work. 555%. I write 555, put my decimal at the end. Since I'm going from decimal or from percent to decimal, I go 2 places to the left. I get 5 and 55 hundredths. Oops. As a decimal, and as a fraction or mixed number in this case, 5 and 55 over 100 simplifies to 5 11 20ths. So my 2 answers for number 2. 78 hundredths percent doesn't change. I still need to move that decimal 2 places to the left. I'm going to need to add a 0 in, and I get 78 10,000ths as a decimal, or 78 over 4 digits in my decimal, 4 zeros in my denominator, and when I simplify, I get 39 5,000ths. I divided the numerator and denominator by 2. So here are my 2 answers for number 8. If I want to write each of these mixed numbers as a percent, still, don't forget we're going to use the Dr. Pepper method. But before I can do that, I need to turn these fractions into decimals. So if I keep the 8 and take 1/4 and turn that into a decimal by dividing 1 by 4, I get 8 25/100. Now, since I'm going from a decimal and I want to make it a percent, I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right, and I get 825%. The rules don't change if I don't have a fraction. If I want to take 14 and turn that into a percent, I take 14, my decimal's at the end. I'm going from decimal to percent, which means I'm going to move 2 places to the right. 1, 2. I'm going to have to add in some zeros, and I get 1,400%. Now it's your turn. Try numbers 12 and 15 in the work section of your WSQ. Pause the video and press play when you're done. We'll check your work. Okay, let's check number 10, or 12 actually. 10 has a decimal at the end. I'm going decimal to percent, which means I'm going to go 2 places to the right and add my 2 zeros. I get 1,000%. For 15, I take 3/4. I leave that alone. I turn 3/10 into a decimal, which is 0.3, and move my decimal 2 places to the right. In this case, I need to add in 1 zero and get 4,430%. Let's look at one last type of problem, and that's even easier than the ones we just looked at. I've got a simple decimal that I'm going to turn into a percent, which means I need to move my decimal 2 places to the right. So I'm going to take 3.5 here and go 2 places to the right, add in zeros where necessary, and I get 350%. It doesn't change if my decimal is a really small number. I'm still going to take my decimal where it is in the problem. I'm going decimal to percent. I move it 2 places to the right, and I'm going to get 5/600%. And it is okay to have a percent that is less than 1, just like it's okay to have a percent that's greater than 100. So now it's your turn. Go ahead and try numbers 20 and 23 in the work section of your WSQ. Pause the video, then press play, and we'll check your work. Okay, let's check your work. If I have 12, the decimal's at the end. I want to turn this to a percent, which means I'm going to go 2 places to the right, add in zeros where necessary, and I get 1,200%. Same thing goes for number 23. Just because my decimal looks like a really small number, I still only move the decimal 2 places to the right, and I get 0.2 or 0.2%. We are done with this video. You can go back and watch any portion of this video as many times as you need to. There are other problems on this page that you can try and check your work with the rubric that I have posted on, or the answer key, sorry, that I have posted on Blackboard. So if you feel like you need more, or on the unit guide, I'm sorry, it's on the unit guide, the key to all the rest of the problems here. So you can go back, try out some more problems if you feel like you need to, or try just the problems in sections that you think you might need a little extra help. But don't forget to WSQ in your notes.